not going to happen.
Well, this is a very snowbally team composition for T1. If they don't get ahead early, it's going to be so difficult for them to win. Rascal going to be on the Volibear up in top lane. This is a good matchup for Volibear. He's able to beat Renekton inside of the laning phase on his own, and that's going to leave it so that Clid can just be in a lot of other places. This draft, there is so much pressure on Faker or Gamayusi to try to remind us how many years Aphelios is.
He's a pretty old guy. Lives longer than most of us. And yeah, I mean, if there is one player to do it, it would be probably Gamayusi or, you know, Ruler across the aisle. So curious to see how he is going to make that happen. As you mentioned, lots of range in the Azir and Senna to try to handle him. But we'll see how it does go down. As out of this, I mean, it's really cool to see Faker just very confidently jump onto the Echo once again here, and we do get to see the Kindred coming out as well, so really enjoy the picks. But guys, let's get into the games. It's game number 1 of this best of 5 to, again, decide who is going to be the third team from Korea to make it to Worlds is going to happen right now.
Well, everyone looks like they're just going to be spreading out here at the very start of this. Peacemaker set is going to be the chroma and skin for life. Not a whole lot should happen in the early stages of the game unless Ellim gets a little bit frisky. But no matter what, there's definitely some interesting stuff going on here. They R5'd Kindred. Even though Azir in some worlds can just shove you out of the Kindred ultimate, but then in addition to that, Set can superplex you out of the Kindred ultimate. So there's a bit of counterintuitive stuff going on here, and yeah, that ward is gonna just barely be able to survive. Hail of Blades, Echo.
On both of them, Hail of Blades Azir.
Yeah.
And Hail of Blades Echo, so
seems like
we're hailing the blades, I guess.
BDD has learned the lesson since facing Chovy with how he's going to elect to start. Now I'm just going to do a solo blue start here.
Yeah, so no leash happening there. Efforts, no leash for both sides actually. Yeah, so you see Life is going pretty aggressive to start us off. A lot of trading here in the mid lane as well. Looks like BDD got the very slight advantage on that one.
Yeah. And down in bottom, I mean, T1 got the much better end of that initial trade. Clid now just gonna move in here, start his red camp, or Raptor camp, sorry. Just starting red. Ellim gonna take the red buff, and it looks like he's pathing up into top lane. He's dancing around right now. This is going to be the first pick for Ellim. First pick for Faker as well.
Well, we got the root, and this is level 2 against level 1. Ruler just abusing this bottom lane with his range advantage, and here comes Life as well. Gonna get a huge trade down in the bottom side. You can see that effort not really able to do much, as it does feel like the better melee support in those little skirmishes does end up being set. So once again, Ruler just saying, hey, by the way, you left Senna open. And I'm going to show you why it's strong. But here comes Ellim. Thinking about going topside, but there is a ward, actually, that he failed to scan. So is going to waste a bit of time up here on the top side, as the ward will now go down, and that was actually spotted because it gets pinged.
This is really strange because Rascal had a cheater recall. He could have just gone for it, and he didn't, and now he's going to die.
Here we go. Yeah, the flash comes in, and Rascal's like, well, I guess I'm dead. Here comes his jungler. Actually, they're turning it onto the Kindred as the flash away, and the damage is not there. Rascal will survive, as BDD is going to turn that one entirely around and pick up the first blood. You okay?
No, I don't think I am. I'm not sure what I just watched. Valdes, we'll take a look at it in the replay. That's a bit of a situation, for sure.
Oh, and here we go on the bottom side too. Gamayusi just gonna have to use his flash for basically nothing. also didn't have cleanse anymore, so the trades down on the bottom side, you can just see Aphelios is getting used.
I mean, this is why it's so awkward. You picked the Aphelios blind, and he's not a blind marksman. And so even though there were the conditions of Set and Volibear present, there was also the Azir and the fact that you're going in blind. So the opponents can just respond to him face up. And I mean, this is why I mentioned it felt like this was just throw one over to Gen.G, because the draft was so layered counterintuitively by T1. And you can see all the lanes are having a bit of a problem. Now, top should have died. We're going to take a look at this. So Rascal, he could have cheater recalled Canna, flashes in, gets the stun, and then just watch this. Hello?
Canna's like, you know what? Actually, never mind.
I mean, you can think that he's trying to give the kill over to Kindred, but you don't need to. I don't know what to think.
Yeah, I mean, that was definitely very strange. He saw the Graves and he's like, I guess I just can't get in there. And it was a very passive play when his jungle was committing to the kill. And yeah, it just ends up being the one kill. I suppose at the end of the day, if he really had the true foresight, he was saying, well, I don't want to give the 3-2. Gamayusi doesn't have flash.
Good night.
Pretty much dead.
Oh!
Actually, one last auto will come in from Ruler after the flash. An effort, I bet you would, you know, at least want to have Ignite at this time. Maybe you could have reached for the kill onto Ruler, but it is not going to happen, as a straight-up kill will go down in the bottom side. And this game is very one-sided so far to the side of Gen.G.
Yeah. This is really just looking like Gen.G are running away with game number 1. And we saw them do this to DRX even. In some of the games, they can just obviously run away with the victory very easily. And when you consider the way that the draft is as well, it's not like, well, T1 still has mid-game or T1 still has late game. That's not really on the agenda. Ruler and Life very intelligently pulling the wave, not CSing it immediately. They're trying to threaten a freeze if they would want to. Now, unfortunately, Graves is not in close proximity down in bottom. Otherwise, they could get a little bit more reckless and trade away HP values.
Here goes BDD. It's going to be a trade of ultimates. The smite will come down. Clid reaching for the kill, but over the wall comes the Kindred. And the damage is not there.
Oh?
There's that chunking down, and down will go Clid? The trade of the junglers. So Clid overstaying his welcome, and Ellim going to pick up a kill for himself. Hitting in the side in the river. Here comes Rascal, will flash on in, and Ellim, only level 4, is going to go down. That is a second kill going to BDD's Azir.
Yeah, and I mean, this Azir hasn't recalled yet, and as soon as he does, things are going to get very problematic. And actually, hold on.
Oh man.
Gamayusi.
Yeah, trading it.
Yeah.
Gamayusi, who is going to go for the cleanse. And the Ignite will come down. Here comes Faker with actually a fantastically timed roam. He's going to get on in there. Effort will get that passive down, and they will assassinate Ruler, as that kill will go the way of Gamayusi. So Faker not able to pick up the kill, but a really nicely timed gank, and now they're going to get some plates.
Yeah, that was a little bit surprising, the way that Gamayusi played that. He played it very reserved. The Haymaker still should have been on about an 8 or 9 second cooldown from set. They're going to end up getting the turret plate, and that was a really good roam down by Faker. Pay attention to this. Oh, this is the different timing. They just go in, they get the kill. Zach goes mid, I can't see him. Or Echo's not mid. And then right here, this is it. So pay attention to the Haymaker, ends up whiffing. And then right here, Gamayusi playing very reserved, but Life was out of cooldowns, and him being at around 200 HP, if Ruler would stay, they would get double killed. Regardless if Life would have to turn back around. They play it very safe and reserved. End up getting the turret plates in the end. Faker here with the ultimate. Didn't get the damage application, and Clid had flash available. I thought he would just flash out, but he ends up just dying.
Yeah. Looked very awkward for sure. And Rascal still with flash. Can use it up on the top side, and is able to get on in there and smack down onto the Kindred, who is only level 4. even after picking up that kill. So
Oh,
we do have a pause.
it wouldn't be an LCK day
Nice.
with you and me without this.
Yeah, well, you know, we haven't had too many episodes of Forbidden Love, so they were like, well, let's give him a chance. It's the last day of the LCK, and apparently Rascal has some lag. So, again, this is one of the problems that is not an easy fix, because they need the ref to get over there, they need to confirm it, they need to try many different things, and then, you know, can get a bit awkward, so may just end up having a longer episode to start off. And apparently heard maybe it will take around 5 minutes. So so how you doing over there, LS?
I'm doing fine. Honestly, it wouldn't be a day of LCK with you and me without a pause. A long one too. This is the first of many, by the way. Just throwing that out there, yeah.
I read the script. I saw that actually we have about 5 or 6 pauses, depending on how the games go. Scheduled for you guys, of course. And yeah, we had the great pause. Obviously, we did that last week. That was about 3 hours. So little pauses don't phase me anymore. I've built up my stamina after the last time.
Well, this is going to be pretty interesting. Now, game number 1 is going pretty good for Gen.G. Pretty much all around, they have the better team comp. The longer the game ends up going, T1 are in a bit of an awkward spot in the game. They did just get some advantages down in bottom, and there's always the chance to 200 years the opponent. But the issue is that they're going to have some anchors on their team that aren't going to really be able to interact with their opponents the longer the game goes on. And so you have to wonder what the out is realistically going to be, and what kind of a rabbit is T1 going to have to pull out of a hat in order to pull this back. And remember those stats about Gen.G, not that they're, you know, definitive, but typically when they're winning like this, they do tend to just continue the pile driving and bring it home.
Yeah, I mean, overall as a team, they're very consistent, and they really don't throw games away when they are ahead. And yeah, here we are once again. And this game is definitely going the way of Gen.G to start off, and it's kind of unfortunate. We saw that Faker was doing everything in his power to try to turn it around, and actually, it was a pretty nice timing on the gank out of Ellim, so they have had some nice plays themselves, but it still remains to be seen if they can actually come back in this game.
Yeah, well, I mean, it is also only game 1, and I think going back to the ban pick, it was very interesting. We had 7 marksman bans, which is pretty unholy. And then the 2 marksmen I expected to see was Ezreal Senna. I thought T1 would actually take the Senna because they have...
Ezreal was banned, actually.
Was it? Oh, he's banned in the second phase. Yeah, you're right. So...
No, it was the 3rd ban of the first phase on red side, actually.
I wish I could say lost memory. Likely senile, actually, here. Likely senile. So, not a big deal. Yeah.
Oh, man.
But Senna, with Echo and Renekton helping enable them as they go in, would just have made so much more sense. Because you heal them as they go in, you don't necessarily have to follow up with them, you're still able to stay at a relatively safe distance. Whereas on the flip side of Philios, he now must go in. And so when you have other champions that must go in, like Echo and Renekton, it's a lot easier for the opponents to respond to you when the champions that must go in don't have as much buffer or help coming to them. This is why team compositions like Yuumi and Karma with Olaf is so helpful, because you just get so much EHP through their shielding and healing and things of that nature. So I was very surprised by where these marksmen ended up, you know, finalizing themselves in the draft, but it was very, very interesting. I thought we would get a Jinx or something.
Yeah, I mean, Jinx was an option. We saw Kog'Maw being hovered earlier on this week, and well, we haven't seen him yet, but will be interesting. Also, Draven was left available, but they decided not to go into that pick either. And yeah, so that's about what happened down on the bottom side. I'm curious to see if there's going to be as much focus on the bottom lane after this one, especially by Gen.G. If they see, well, he's just going to play Aphelios, then, well, we'll be happy with that. As, yeah, still waiting on the fix, guys. Sorry about the pause. This is one of 6 pauses that we're going to have, of course. And, yeah, just hanging out here.
Yeah. Everything's exquisite. Honestly, it's
feeling good.
Indeed.
What did you have for breakfast today?
I haven't ate actually. I had a coffee.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Coffee.
Had a coffee.
Oh man.
On an empty
I
stomach.
can't drink coffee on an empty stomach.
Well,
I don't know. It just it really gets to me if I do that. But I had some pho.
what?
It's very good.
What?
Yeah. Some pho. You know, like Vietnamese noodles?
Pho?
You ever had it? Yeah, pho. I thought it was pronounced pho.
Is it pho?
I'm not sure. I really don't know.
Okay.
It was good. It was good. I enjoyed it. And, yeah.
Okay.
It's pretty good.
All right. I'm probably gonna eat after.
What are you planning on eating later today? You gonna have another coffee? Is there anything else you got planned for the
There's limited options here in the Death Realm.
That's true.
I will let you know about that. You know, I will. I'm not sure what.
Story.
Yeah, likely story. There's very limited things that I can get, you know, delivered here. Yeah. So, also it's pouring up here in Chun. So yeah, how is it in Seoul?
It's fine here.
Okay.
I mean, it's a little bit gray and cloudy, but other than that, it's pretty fine.
All right.
Just, you know, still struggle because we can't really go outside too much with
yeah,
all of the COVID, of course.
a lot of places around here have now closed in the last 2 days, but I thought everything was getting better because the cases have dropped dramatically. But I was telling Atlas in one of the casts that basically it's now at a point where you have to have a QR code to go into shops, and then you also have to sign in, and then you have to record your name, phone number, and something, and there's a camera that records you too. It's definitely interesting. It's yeah.
Take your temperature.
Yeah.
It's a process.
Yeah.
It takes like a good 3 minutes to go anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. And
you know what's actually happened because of that is delivery food has been selling a lot more. There's actually like everybody's just, you know, buying delivery food, as I did today, actually, which makes sense. In Korea, you can get pretty much anything delivered as well.
Yes.
They have great services where, you know, even if you want something from a convenience store, you can pay someone to, you know, just hop on a motorcycle, go over and bring you a bottle of water if that's what you wanted. So definitely pretty fun, very convenient living in Korea. And we're still just hanging out, guys. Still waiting on the lag situation. I'm just watching the Korean commentators. Looks like they're still talking about the game, which is a bit unfortunate. Not too much else to say about the game.
yeah, the game is in a pretty weird state right now. It's still very early on. Obviously, chaos can still unfold, and T1 could manage to get back into a pretty good state, but besides that, not much else about the game to talk about. I will say, though, that these two teams are the reason that the match is as intense as it is for the final seed is that a lot of people perceive these two teams to be the second strongest seed that would actually be going from Korea. I know that is a very popular consensus on Reddit and Twitter and elsewhere, and amongst other analysts and pro players. So it is a bittersweet ending for one of these two here today. So we'll see.
It's gonna be pretty rough. I mean, imagine you go through here and it's like a 5-game series and you just barely don't make Worlds because you're facing off against such a strong team. If Gen.G had just made it through, then we probably would be watching T1 versus DRX at this moment in time, which also would have been interesting. But I think that T1 might have had a better chance against
Yeah.
them. They could shut down Chovy, which I think overall Faker can do a decent job of that.
I feel like T1 versus DRX matches up a lot better because DRX is so willing to sin, and then DRX and T1, when it comes to drafting, they're both all over the place. It's honestly just roll the die. But Gen.G tend to always gravitate towards the more stable, solid kinds of drafts that have very interesting either chemistry or very tailored breakpoints throughout the game that really doesn't often have a reliance on getting ahead. And so when T1 goes up against Gen.G, you get a little bit nervous because you start sweating and scratching your neck. You're like, what draft is it going to be this time? And sometimes you end up with a draft like this one in game 1 where we're mostly watching until 10-15 minutes, because if Echo, Renekton, Aphelios, Kindred don't get ahead, it's going to be a nightmare. It doesn't mean that they're out of it. It doesn't mean they can't win. It's just going to mean that it's extremely unlikely that they're going to win the longer that this game goes up against Gen.G draft. And this is just something that can happen because of the way that T1 historically throughout the entire...
Maybe Forbidden Love is going to end here and just...
Yeah. And this is going to be one of the last episodes of Forbidden Love.
Yeah. This is the last day of LCK. This might be the last time you guys see us.
Yeah.
I know Atlas was, his last day was yesterday. Shout out to him. Had a fantastic year, as always. And looks like we're back in the game, guys. So we actually do have League of Legends stuff to talk about. And let's get it going.
Well, about a 1.3k gold lead right now. Azir with a monstrous recall. Sork Pen Boots and Lost Chapter is going to be picked up here.
Yeah, and the fact that he's so far ahead means that he can easily just scoot over to the Rift Herald that's going to be taken here right after 8 minutes, so not wasting any time with that. I would imagine that T1 have a pretty good idea that this is going on, but they're not going to do the thing where they rotate their whole team over or anything like that, so it's pretty nice for them. Faker just kind of on pushing duty. We'll see if he goes for any other big roams. Had a big one to start off this game.
And, ooh.
Little hook onto Ruler.
Well,
They're going to get a nice amount of poke down. As the Q landed, but Gamayusi doesn't actually follow up on that one.
well, I think at this point, Gen.G, all they have to do is just play everything very safe and stable. Mostly because Graves already has that Rift Herald picked up. He's clearing down to the bottom side. No dragons have been taken yet. And ideally, you want to use the Rift Herald in mid lane. Not on any of the side lanes. It opens up and accelerates the game a little bit too quick. And Gen.G, they want everything to be very safe, very stable. You want the game to go as long as possible. But mid lane is generally the lane that you want to crack down first.
Sure, as the Cloud Drake is going to be taken here. Infernal is next. And still just 1,000 gold lead here for Gen.G in this game. You saw that T1 actually committed 4 people to go over there and take that down really quickly. So, not wasting any time with that one. And I'm very curious about Ellim's current state. I know he missed his first mark because of the double scuttle from the Graves after the shenanigans up in the top lane. But maybe got the one on the kill. And that's about it. We'll have to check in with this one.
Well, 1,000 gold lead right now for Gen.G. You can see Clid down here. Didn't actually do his golem camp, and now with Echo seeing that there's no Raptors, they should actually be able to deduce that Clid's down here. And I say that because you know when he took the Rift Herald, you see how Volibear's playing the lane, you know that it's not natural for that Raptor camp to still be up and not getting taken. Nothing else makes any sense.
Yeah, and overall it was a pretty good read. There's the Rift Herald going to crash into the bottom turret. And it's only going to get a couple of plates, so a nice little chunk down in the bottom side, but especially with Gamayusi on that Aphelios has some pretty good wave clear, so I would imagine it'll be a while before that one does go down. Ellim waiting in the wings here, but flash available for BDD, and so they're not going to go for any play. And
And meanwhile, up in top lane, Canna and Rascal, they're still just going at it. Canna is ahead a little bit in the XP department. Not by a whole bunch, but it looks like Rascal...
Ooh. He's getting in there.
Yeah.
And he's got his ultimate available. He will absolutely go for this play. Canna getting pretty low, and he's going to be smacked.
Oh!
One last auto would have...
Oh!
Oh, it's trying to be sniped, and Ruler nearly gets him there. Really great try. He was just on the edge of the Dawning Shadows, but there you go. Canna is going to get away, but a nice little trade up in the top side either way for Rascal. Will keep his flash at the end of the day.
And what a close call for Canna. And Rascal is going to be able to retain his flash advantage, though. That should be a pretty easy thing now for setting up lethals onto the Renekton, who didn't elect to go Ninja Tabi. But on the flip side, you can notice that Rascal did. And so a little bit of dual potency against not only the Renekton, but also the Kindred. And so now with Graves on the left-hand side, I wouldn't be surprised if Rascal just threatened to... No, we're not going to freeze this with our jungler? No? All right.
No.
All right.
He just blew his flash, but I mean, why would you want to take him down?
So the reason that it would be so good to freeze there is because Graves is in such close proximity and the enemy doesn't have Dominus, nor does he have flash. So if you just drop the passive on Volibear and freeze the wave, Renekton can't walk up. And if he can't walk up, worst case scenario for you is you zone him out of 6 minions, which is almost an assist. And it is a very big difference in gold and EXP. Best case scenario, he tries to walk up, you pull your jungler over, and he just dies. So it's a pretty forced situation. No matter what, that those are always going to be the only two options that can really play out. And either one you're happy with. But instead, we're just going to play ping pong in top lane, and it's a really big lost opportunity by Gen.G.
Yep, absolutely. And it seems like Rascal, the only way he wants to put on pressure is by pushing. Actually being pushed in a little bit right now, but Graves is not up there at this moment in time, so kind of unfortunate there, especially with no vision in there as, okay, in goes Faker, just going to trade ultimates. You'll see this very often. It's really hard for either of them to kill each other. As another trade up in the top side, but we're not going all in this time around. Kind of just fine, but Rascal, very aggressive positioning in the lane.
Just going blow for blow. War the monsters up there, or King of the Monsters, however you want to phrase it. It's kind of like Godzilla versus King Kong, in a way, even though it's not a gorilla.
Much, yeah.
Wait, is there not a gorilla LoL champion?
No, I mean, there's only Wukong, but it's not a gorilla.
It's not a gorilla. There needs to be a gorilla.
Yeah, I mean,
Wukong's dad.
Then we can have actually Godzilla versus King Kong. For right now, though, I mean, Volibear is pretty much the closest thing you're going to get.
Yeah.
As in goes Faker, you can see he's taking really aggressive trades now. Has that Proto Belt completed. As Clid, once again, is down on the bottom side. Which is going to help to push this one in. As the Infernal Drake is available, they really want to get priority around that objective. So, trying to push in and get as much positioning as possible.
Yeah, and you can see T1, they should not just give up this Infernal for free. Canna has level 11. Yeah. Rascal didn't get it yet, but Senna ultimate.
Go. The Dawning Shadows is going to come on in, and Rascal is going to flash in for that play. Needs to land this auto this time around.
Oh, no!
Have his flash, but trying to get the Storm Strike, and he's going to dodge it.
Oh.
Canna with the fancy feat today, and he will survive at the end of the day. Decides to back away. Does have a ward, but says, well, I'm not going to risk it. Let me just go back. I don't want to get shot in the face by Graves or get dove at this moment in time.
Oh, man. What a close call that is the top lane right now. Canna getting very, very fortunate with the way that everything keeps playing out. And Trinity Force almost going to be completed up there on the Volibear. Meanwhile, down here in bot lane, Clid seems very indecisive, and he's constantly skipping his Raptors and his Golem camps. Faker?
Faker is going in onto 4 members here. He's going to get stunned down and deleted. Ellim gonna be... Actually, that was effort. In goes BDD. Oh, it's the one as the ultimate will come down, but Rascal teleporting in and is going to make this an unfair fight. A double kill. 2 more will go to the side of BDD as he is now 4-0, a monster, and Gen.G will get this Infernal Drake.
And the thing about this is that BDD being the one that's 4-0 is the most problematic thing that you could ever really imagine, because he's the one with the terrain control. He's the one that basically says Kindred, Renekton, and Echo can't hard engage. He's the one whose Sand Soldiers say to Aphelios that he can't just walk up and free deal. So him being so big right now, them picking up the Infernal, it's really looking doom and gloom for T1 here in game number 1, because there's no insurance policies on their side of the team. Mountain Drake is coming up, which is pretty big for both of these teams, but if you just imagine how the game's gonna play out, Gen.G should be the ones to get it. Faker, he goes back in. I don't know what he's thinking here. He just ends up getting caught out and ends up dying. Gamayusi jumps into the backline, not quite able though to get a life, only able to get one of the kills, and ends up being a disaster for T1.
Yeah, and that was really all just started by Faker hitting that control board and deciding, being a little bit stubborn, that he's not going to leave until he takes that one down. He got the ward, but he also got killed, so definitely not a good trade. Also baited his teammates into that fight. After all of that happened, you could see he was probably calling for help, and he was pretty much already dead after expending a lot of damage onto Clid, but not really able to get the job done. And as you mentioned, definitely pretty scary right now. Faker gonna get that slowed down, but life pretty fast here. Trying to get in range, but Protobelt will be used at the last moment to just make sure that he does not go down.
And meanwhile, up in top lane, it's still a bit of an island. Trinity Force not yet complete for Rascal. They're just going to be going blow for blow, but it's almost a 4,000 gold deficit with Gen.G having the much more valuable dragon. And everything is probably going to be pretty calm for the next couple of minutes.
Yeah, just kind of chilling out like we were before. Not really too many plays to be made at this moment in time. They can go for Shirley here, and the mid turret has actually taken a little bit of damage, as you can see, so maybe they'll actually try to extend into taking down that very important tier 1 mid turret. I can imagine it'll be pretty easy with the help of our second repaired Shirley, as everybody seems to be grouping up around the mid lane to try to get in there. As in goes BDD, he's going to find Gamayusi, and he is just dead. I mean, there was no vision there, but there wasn't the enemy jungle on that side, so I'm curious how they had no idea that BDD was there, and how that kill just looked so free.
Yeah, and I mean, right now it just feels like T1 is a little bit lost on what to do inside of this game. Gen.G, they're the ones with complete autonomy and control over everything that's going to be allowed to happen. Faker's just trying to split push down in bottom. He's going Lichbane, second item here on the Echo. But the Mountain Dragon, that's going to really decide the fate, I feel, for the game. If Gen.G end up winning that, they not only get a little bit of resistances, but they buy themselves an extra 5 minutes of just scaling time where nothing is really allowed to happen. BDD with a very nice engage there on Gamayusi. Everything's just really playing itself right now. Valdes?
Yeah, I mean, this is why BDD plays this year, right? There are moments where he can just make some incredible plays, but again, that one kind of looked just free. I mean, Gamayusi was too far up the lane with no vision on the mid-side brushes, and he didn't even have flash, so got to be a little bit smarter about exactly, knowing how the game is going and exactly how passive you have to be in order to survive. As I say that, he's pushing out mid lane, misses that cannon, it looks like, which is pretty unfortunate, as Faker has assumed the role of the top laner for now.
Wow. He's going to be trying to shove in the wave. Canna on the run right now. Going to get ulted by the Polar Bear. Clid not
Yeah, here comes life as well. Clid a little bit unfortunate with this pathing. Will they have the damage is the question. as Dominus is used, and he will flash Ignite, ticking at this moment in time. Rascal gonna get on in there, rooted underneath the turret, but just trying to get that slowdown onto Gamayusi and just barely clips him at the end. So another kill over to the side of Gen.G. Meanwhile, they're just pushing mid. Nobody's here.
No one's...
And they're getting so much value.
Yeah, I mean, Faker's he's pushing top tier 1, but it's not going to end up mattering. BDD is here. And this is a pretty cut and dry... No, don't kill that. They should let the Herald charge and then let the next wave kill the inhibitor. And if you end up doing that, you get super minions at 21 minutes, which is really valuable because you funnel in 5 minutes of waves into you for EXP and gold that the opponents are never going to be able to get access to. And it's not like the opponents can just randomly start up the Baron, right? You know that they're about to get the mountain, and so you can't even make an argument for that. This would be so much better if T1 could allow their mid-tier 1 inhibitor to just end up going down. I've seen a lot of teams, actually, they intentionally don't take the inhibitor, and it's for reasons like this.
Absolutely, but they did not do that after all. The 4th mark is going to finally be taken here by Ellim at 22 minutes, so a little bit slow on that one. Good on his teammates to help him out, and Canna is just getting kind of abused here in the side lane. He's got Gamayusi nearby.
Oh.
And he doesn't even get the monster there. Sir Grompulus. Faker is incredibly fast with his TP. And will be looking to pick up that very easy kill. So there you go. Faker getting in position at the right time in the bottom lane once again.
Yeah, he comes in with Echo and just manages to maim the Volibear there. But not really be enough at in this game. It's almost a 5,000 gold lead here. 23 minutes.
Oh man, forcing the flash here, and here comes Faker as well. Will flash on in and secure that kill, and this Echo is just...
wait, what?
Echo's BDD, what is going on?
Hello?
In goes Faker, he's got his ultimate.
Baron?
Nearly getting on life. Kanna's down here, he's got TP, so he'll just continue pushing. Volibear not in position, and they will, in fact, go for the Baron.
I mean, okay, so this changes everything, this series of events. Now, pay attention to all of their XP levels right now when they end up capturing the Baron. This is not just the 1,500 gold that goes over to T1. It's also all the EXP that is going to go their way. And, okay, so Aphelios almost got an entire level off that. His XP bar highlighted in the bottom left. That is so much power, and we just see how it all starts up. Ruler, randomly in mid lane, he's got a hot date.
They don't kill the...
There was no way. He ends up getting brought down, life almost going down as well. Facebreaker into the Haymaker, but Faker not quite able to get him in the end, and then immediately turned to Baron. The gold score almost evened up. And now the levels as well are pretty much even across the board. However, Gamayusi ahead in EXP. Ever is ahead in EXP. Faker's about to ding 16. BDD just dinged 15. This is a very big swing in T1's favor. And the Baron persists into the Mountain Dragon. So even though when the dust all settles, Gen.G are still going to be ahead, T1 are much closer in this game than they were just 1 minute ago.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's just a massive swing after you just essentially give over 2 free kills and the Baron. And Faker is a menace right now. I mean, say what you will about how the early game went in 5-0 BDD, but it doesn't matter if you're just going to TP into 3 people and die. As here comes Light going in on this one. We got TP. They're trying to play on to effort.
What?
As the double knockup is going to come in, the triple actually, as Gen.G are just falling apart out of nowhere, and T1 will lap this up happily.
I have no idea what is the series of events that is unfolding in the last 3 minutes. Valdes, this is... I don't know. It's like a sandcastle getting hit by a wave. It's what's happening. Ruler, I think he's gonna... No, well, he's Yumu's... Yeah, okay. He has the movement speed from Senna.
man, this is, if you're a Gen.G fan, this is not what you wanted to have happen. This is not what you wanted to see. And all of those parts of T1's comp that were looking pretty weak after the early game are now just bolstered so much. It's an entirely different game after the last, 2-3 minutes. And you can't really afford to make mistakes like that in this important of a best of 5.
You look at the manner in which they're being caught out. Sometimes they're handshaking it like this one. I don't know what they're thinking. Even if they get onto them, there's Lamb's Respite there. But also, it's a Stone Plate Nautilus. You're never going to be able to kill him here. I don't know what they're thinking.
Yeah, and they're focusing him because everybody else got over the wall. And they're like, well, I guess we gotta attack Stone Plate Nautilus? It's just, it's confusing, for sure. But Gen.G, they're now saying, well, we gotta group up for the 5v5, and we don't want to let these Drakes go down without a fight. Faker over the wall, considering going in on this one. Effort going to be frontlining. That is going to be the Stone Plate. Another 3-man knockup. In goes Faker. He is being burst down. Has to go into that ultimate. In goes BDD. Gets the 2 of them. A really nice jump first divide as there's chaos in the Dragon Pit. We get the ultimate out of Ellim, but actually it's T1 that are going to go down in this fight as Canna will be fighting for his life, but will not get out of this one. 4 kills will go the way of Gen.G after that.
Yeah, and so it ends up being a 4 for 2. In favor of Gen.G, they're also going to reward themselves with the jungle of T1. And you can just see Azir was doing so much inside of this team fight. Take a look at it one more time. Effort, he whips the initial engage. Now, T1 shouldn't have gone for this engage. They had the Mountain Dragon. They could have just disengaged. They could have backed off. Effort loses all of his HP. Shurima Shuffle onto the Renekton. He flashes back in to the fight. Lamb's Respite comes out as well. Faker doesn't have anything he can do because he can't execute anyone because of the Kindred ultimate. A little bit of counterintuitive there, but not the end of the world. Gen.G, they end up standing victorious. Clid has also now caught up in levels. Rascal back to being even. Gamayusi still ahead in the XP department, but Effort and Life now back to being even as well. And this game is, it's a roller coaster.
Yeah, and KT isn't even playing, so it's been back and forth, and this is what you do like to see out of this kind of a rivalry. Unfortunately, I feel like it's kind of been back and forth because of mostly throws, although I do like BDD's play in that last one. The Lamb's Respite, a little bit confusing, as Ellim coming in here starting once again ahead of Cuz, and playing, a very difficult champion. You need to have amazing timing and positioning to play Kindred. It's, it's very intuitive. You have to have a lot of experience on that champion. And unfortunately, in that sense, he saved some of the members of Gen.G in the Dragon Pit and allowed them to come back as Effort steps up and dies. Not much else to say about that one. The slow is going to go down onto Ellim. At the same time, he's going to have to flash away. Faker waiting in the wings. You can see that insane range out of Ruler, just tapping on the back. And now Gen.G are going to take control of this one and look to push into mid lane.
Well, they're going to raise the mid tier 1 turret. And honestly, this isn't something that I tend to like that much. Mid super minions versus just the cannon minions that you have, generally they end up working against you in more cases than not. Typically, if you win a game-deciding fight, you're able to end it without a super. You just need a cannon minion, if it's going to be strong enough. Mountain Dragon is up in 2 minutes. Faker, well.
Yeah, he's in a really awkward spot now. Good flash, at least, to get out of that one. As some trading down here on the side. Oh, man, that is going to whiff, but he does get a double root. Doesn't really amount to all that much, as Faker, they're pinging where he is exactly. But can they stop it? They can actually stop the back. That is huge. He doesn't have his ultimate or his flash. They should easily be able to get Faker here. Faker only has one choice, and that's try to fight. He can't do much, as now Gen.G with the Baron available could consider going for this objective.
Well, it looks like they should turn onto the Baron. Lamb's Respite is there, but now Clid's the one with the higher level. Also the execute. I would imagine Clid would have a lot easier of a time trying to go for the burst than Ellim would. So we'll see what ends up happening. It looks like T1's actually just going to give it up. They're not even going to contest.
Gamayusi, can he do much?
Nope.
No, the smite will come in. And that is going to be a nice little Baron over the side of Gen.G. And yeah, pretty much just opened up in the enemy jungle. We're not going to take a look at that, though. We're going to look at Effort just kind of waddling in the mid lane and getting caught out here.
And yeah, I mean, Effort randomly in mid for no reason whatsoever. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Gen.G, they know where Faker is. Managed to get onto him. He's not able to get the recall off. They turn onto Baron shortly thereafter. They pick that one up. Now the Baron, it's gonna convert. It will persist on. Okay, well.
Oh, man. Oh, that's just insult to injury at this point.
It did come at the cost of Graves' ultimate, but
super low cool.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's almost up.
Speed through.
It's almost back up.
ready.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Mountain Drake will just be handed over to Gen.G with the Baron buff that they still have for 2 minutes. So some extra stats bolstering what they already have. Obviously, a lot of tanky items for 3 of them. You can see the Polar Bear Graves and Set, of course, rebuilding that. And here comes the push with the Baron down on the bottom side. And Faker immediately is just going to basically die. He gets sniped out by Ruler. See you later. And has 0 effect on the fight as they will continue pushing.
Well, I think this is going to be the end of the game, Valdes. I cannot imagine T1 managing to survive this final push. There's so much damage.
Oh.
Yeah.
In goes Rascal. He says, have a good night. You're not going to be able to do much. And BDD is just chunking through everybody on their side. Lancer Spike comes in. Gamayusi trying to put on the 200 years, but gets slapped in the face by Life, who will put him down. And so will go the Nexus as well. Game 1 will go the way of Gen.G, even with some, you know, some big mistakes there in the mid-game. They were still able to turn this to be taken regularly. And I think the Braum ultimate actually won't be so bad against Set Renekton and Nidalee a bit. So pretty interesting. I mean, it's been a while since we've seen it, at least, for sure. Maybe they really wanted to get this early game going very strong. And that's why I was looking for something that had good gank assist in the mid lane. Because Jace, you know, he's not, you know, it's going to be hard for them to really lock down Renekton unless, you know, a lot of trading goes on. So very curious to see how Ellim can do on a jungler that needs to be very proactive and looking for those ganks early on in the game.
Now, one of the potential upsides to picking Elise in a game like this is that the opponents probably haven't practiced against it in a very long time. So that can be one of the upsides. So we'll see if T1 can manage to utilize that in their favor, but this is going to be very akin to fighting fire with fire. But yet again, T1, the onus is on them. They have to get ahead. They do not have as much late game insurance policy. The Sylas does sort of scale here, even though he doesn't have any real key ultimates to take, mostly because the enemy team is very brawlery, and some of their champions do tend to taper off as well, with the exception being the Nidalee and the Ezreal. But both of these two team compositions are very, very skirmishy. Just late game Ezreal here is going to be a nightmare.
I think this might be the game where Ruler pops off and does some crazy stuff, as he absolutely can on the Ezreal. Ezreal, also another champ that we don't see all too often nowadays, but we see it here or there, and Ruler does like to pick it up every once in a while. Looks like a cull start first for Gamayusi down on the bottom side, as Ellim is considering getting on into the enemy jungle as well. Will be spotted.
And it's going to be Conqueror Elise as well. So not going for Electrocute or anything of that nature. Has Water Walking and Nimbus Cloak available. On the flip side, you can see Conqueror Elise, Presence of Mind there as well. And we'll take a look at all of the runes in just a second. We're going to have to... Okay, there is definitely some Presence of Mind. on T1 side.
Whoa.
Except for the Elise.
It's really cool, actually. Everybody went for the same tree. And 9 out of 10 went for it as well in this entire game. I mean, we have 4 Conquerors on the side of Gen.G, 3 for T1. And you were talking about brawling. Well, I think that tells the story pretty well, as both of these sides are going to be looking to brawl quite a bit. Again, some first picks, but, you know, Ellim and Gamayusi didn't play all season, so I suppose Ellim played a bit, but he did not play the Elise. Faker only 1 game, actually, on the Silas, and that was yesterday, of course.
Well, we'll see how this early game does transpire. So the initial opening here, we know that Clid is just going to clear out his red side jungle. Elise on the flip side doing red into blue right away. And now moving into Grom. And it looks like Rascal, he is getting shoved in, but this is on wave 2. And so all that Canna is able to do with this is crash wave 2, put down a defensive ward to make sure he doesn't get ganked by the Nidalee. And then he's able to continue exerting pressure against the Renekton. And in doing so, he provides the Elise the ability to not have to run up to top lane to protect him against a Nidalee gank, so no counter ganks are really necessary. 18 CS by VDD. Very, very good CSing.
Yeah, he's having a fun time, and he's slow pushing it into the mid lane. I really did like the set flex into the Silas. A couple of melee champions, and you know what set can do to those guys, as we can see pretty clearly, even in the early trades.
Yep.
VDD gonna get pretty much every CS there. Misses a couple on that last wave. And now they're looking to actually get on top of Ellim here, who is gonna smite that one down. Here comes VDD, but he's got a little plant over there. So very nicely timed by Ellim to get in and get out. Gamayusi, don't, yeah, you don't really want to be taking those trades against Ruler. That's not necessarily what we're going to be looking for from you.
Yeah, and the bot lane right now for Gen.G definitely getting the better end of everything. Now, Gamayusi needs to get out of this lane sometime within the next 2 waves. And that's really the timing for Ruler and Life to coordinate something with Clid if they're going to go for it. Now, Ellim getting the Scuttle Crab on the right-hand side is actually very big, as it slows down Nidalee's tempo, and
Haymaker, and he has to flash. That is not a good look to start off this game. The set is putting down the law in the mid lane and showing Silas what's up.
I mean, it's a very brutal laning phase, and because it's Silas Elise, Set's able to get MR in the early stages. There it is. BDD, a bit of a savant, even going to go for the Merc Treads as his first item, most likely. And then Elise and Silas, good luck, have fun, trying to move Set out of mid lane. I mean, this is a problem. This is why I said it's solo queue, is because it just feels like these champions are here because you want to individually play them, but there's no cohesion. In fact, there's things that just work against them. And this is the natural trajectory of pretty much all of these lanes are truly unfolding right now. Jace is winning against the Renekton, has him shoved in at pretty much all points, a bit of an HP differential. Elise is power farming, and because getting that right side Scuttle Crab actually keeping up with Nidalee a little bit. But mid lane is about to swing really, really hard in BDD's favor.
Yeah, he's going to be like a rock in the mid lane. It's not going to be easy to move him. As you can see, he's actually got a nice little experience lead over Faker. Will be hitting level 6 first. Here comes Ellim and Effort. They're going to use the Hawk to get on in there and spot the enemy. But a nice little trap by Clid, but the Cocoon is going to land. The flash forward is not going to do much, though, because Clid will be able to get away.
Oh, BDD has 6!
Looking to wrap around. Life will be forced to flash, though. BDD now in kind of an awkward spot, looking to trade, and down will go Clid, as now BDD is going to go for it, but it's a little bit too late. Flashes backwards, and can he actually get in here with the Conqueror? No, he'll finally go down as here come the 80 carries, but Ruler now is going to be baited into it. A double kill for Ellim, and the slows coming out, and another great Cocoon will force the cleanse and the flash out of Ruler, so an aggressive invade from T1 actually does work.
And it ends up working out really, really, really well, because the person that gets all the kills is the Elise, and she's the one that needs it the most in order to remain relevant inside of this game. Another really big trade onto Faker, chunks him a lot of his HP, but the upside is that if Elise can get ahead of Nidalee inside of this game, which those 2 kills are definitely going to help propel her to do so, things can definitely get a little bit spicy. Because if Elise is running around with an entire jungle item over the Nidalee in the early stages of the game, it creates an enormous problem for some of the laners on the side of Gen.G, because Set can no longer just conduct himself as freely as if the game was completely even all around. And Ellim should be able to open things up a lot. I'm looking forward to looking at that replay, because it was looking like it was going to be really doomed for Gen.G. So we take a look at how this happens. So Clid ends up eating the Cocoon first, and you can see BDD, he already used his Face Breaker. He's a little bit slow to move. Right here, Life and Clid could have both just backed out, and BDD could have gone back to his lane, and everything would have been fine. Life blundering with the chase a little bit too long. Cocoon comes out one more time, locks up Clid, even though he had his flash available. Haymaker repositioned via the flash, but it still wasn't enough, and Gen.G blunder a lot of the decision making here, and T1 punishes it really well.
Absolutely. Just a little bit too eager to fight in that one. And here we go. Ellim is actually going to get surprised. Nice block by the little spider, as Ellim, he doesn't really have much support. Here come Faker and Canna finally. This Faker is thinking about getting over the wall, but it is a bit of a 3-on-3 effort. Only level 5, not level 6. Trying to engage now is Faker. They know they have their support coming in, as in will go the double ultimate from the set, as BDD getting on in there, trying to chunk down effort. He's incredibly tanky. Is going to pick up the double kill, and this guy just doesn't die, as he will finally be taken out by the spider. As in goes Ellim, looking to chase down onto Clid, but for now it will just be a 2-for-2. But that Elise is getting really massive at this time.
And remember that during all of this, Ellim has Runic Echo upgrade inside of the jungle. So Ellim's clear speed is going to be a lot faster than that of Nidalee. And he's already getting back to the farming. Faker up in top lane now, immediately shoving in the minion wave. Jace is going to immediately rotate over into mid. He's going to push that in. Ellim now starting up the Rift Herald, thinking that, okay, Nidalee is probably just going to start pathing down into bot side. All the lanes are resetting. It's unlikely that they come over here and try to do anything to stop this. And that would be a very nice Rift Herald sneak, if he can end up getting it. Meanwhile, on the bottom side of the map, Gamayusi is up quite a bit in the CS department as well. And don't forget that he has the call. So that call is actually going to be completed in about 4 waves if he does everything pretty much perfect.
Yeah, we're going to take a look here at the replay. Obviously a lot going on as we had stolen set ultimate into real set ultimate with the wall.
And Rascal couldn't quite get the heal right at the very end. And you can see that Clid very indecisive on what he initially wanted to do. A little bit delayed with the re-engage, but Set getting enormous amounts of value in that fight for his teammates. And we can see here that as the game currently stands, it's a 700 gold lead in favor of T1. Now, their comp needs to be ahead as we transition into mid-game. And I don't feel like this lead is big enough, but it's good that all the gold is on the Elise, because she's still going to be the one that is able to influence a lot. More MR items are going to start coming in, though, as time goes on. We're going to probably have the Athenes come in for Nidalee. You can see Ellim down here, trying to give effort and Gamayusi a lot more freedom.
The trading between these two in the mid lane is always pretty fun, because they're both melee and they like to punch things, so they're both going to go ahead and try to do that. This ward actually will spot both Ellim and Faker moving south at the moment. As they're just waiting in the brush, maybe looking to catch Ellim. But actually the Goon is going to come down and they're going to find VDD, but again, it's so difficult to take this guy down. That is a really nice arrow. In comes the Pantheon, and they're trying to take down VDD. How is this guy still alive? As he is going to go for the flash, but finally, over the wall, he will go down, and Life gets baited into it as well. So a pretty clean, just straight up double kill down on the bottom side of the match, set up there by T1.
Yeah, and I mean, at this point, T1, they propel themselves to a 2,000 gold lead. They're going to summon the Rift Herald down here in bottom. They're going to give all the gold over to Gamayusi, although it looks like they're actually going to split it up amongst their members. Call has also been completed for him as well by now, and they are getting very far ahead. And all of this snowballs off of that one time that Clid and Life, they had the option to back away. Left of the wolf camp, didn't do so, and now the whole game.
That spear.
Snowball. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if he hit that spear, that would have been a kill for Clid. Doesn't actually work out. Big trade happening up on the top side. Rascal is a level up, and that's going to be a spear to the face. See you later, Canna. They will hand that one over to the side of Clid, as it's pretty much just a win in the trade, which is huge for Rascal, as Canna will stay level 9 and lose even more XP with that wave pushing in. So a nice little slap back from Gen.G.
And, oh, you can see they just barely managed to clip Clid on the vision, and it was a really good fake by Faker to pretend as if he didn't see. Pantheon ultimate comes in, BDD doing his best to survive there. Effort even flashes over the wall, gets the point blank stun, picks up the kill. And that's 2 kills going over to T1. They immediately convert this into the Herald. Meanwhile, up in top lane, slice and dice in. Really big trade by Rascal and Canna. And then you can see up here in Italy. Nice little kill there.
Yeah. And we could have had like a massive chase that maybe eventually gets Rascal the kill, but Nidalee being in position makes that a bit easier, quicker to pick up the kill. And the accelerated shock blast just goes entirely wide, so Rascal able to dodge that one and force the trade. There wasn't really much that Canna could do, but still, I mean, look at the bottom lane and the gold difference right now is just gigantic when it does come to Ashe and Pantheon in particular. We also do have that nice jungle lead for the side of Ellim, although the CS is pretty decent for Clid.
Yeah, Clid is still ahead in EXP. He's also hit the level 9 breakpoint, so all of his jungle camps are respawning at a higher level. So he's getting the 35% bonus EXP over Ellim until Ellim dings that and gets all his camps respawning at level 9. And so now he finally did catch up, but Clid has been in that for a little while. And so Elise, unsure what Ellim's going to go as the next item. You can already see the Merc Treads are coming out on the enemy team. And so I'm curious if Ellim will still go into Oblivion Orb, or if he'll actually just pick up the Liandry's, given that he is Conqueror. And then it makes the Spiderlings definitely have a much greater chance to poke the opponents.
Well, we'll have to wait and see what he does decide to go for. Obviously has a large amount of gold with his 3-0-4 scoreline. He's been part of every single kill, which is definitely a good look. Faker and Effort, the two closest. They've been a part of 6 of 7 kills, but only Ellim has gotten every single one. He's also going to go ahead and steal this blue, using that map control that T1 currently have to take some extra. We also have Infernal Drake about to spawn, so he's going to want to just sit here, wait if he can catch someone out, and try to pick up this dragon for his team.
Yeah. Infernal. About to... Oh, Effort.
Oh man, Effort is in the worst spot here. That's going to be a free kill straight up. Nice shock blast, but here comes Gen.G over the wall. We're going to have the slow onto Ellim.
Oh, we got the stun!
A miss, but either way, they're trying to get on top of this spider. The flash will come in. That's 600 gold now into the pockets of Nidalee as things are falling apart now for T1. Gen.G able to take a huge chunk out of them, and they also get this pretty massive Infernal.
Yeah, and the Infernal Dragon is super big for them. at this point. They get the better of the two dragons that have spawned. Cloud Dragon is coming up.
Oh boy.
And Elise does end up picking up that Oblivion Orb. So until Renekton and Ezreal start getting MR, that will help her a lot against those two in particular. But a Void Staff would have been more beneficial against the Nidalee and the Set. Obviously, Braum is going to be a little bit of a beefy boy as well. So I'm a little bit surprised to see the Oblivion Orb, especially because the game's about to enter into a lull state with the dragon being captured. All things considered, there's the Iceborne Gauntlet, Deadman's Plate already up on the Set, Zanya's Hourglass going to be the next item on the Sylas, and Jace is going into lethality with the Mana Mune.
Yeah, looks like he is. There isn't, well, actually, there is a decent amount of armor built. I mean, you can see even Rascal's considering, we'll see if he does go into Ninja Top, but we also have Deadman's Plate on BDD in the mid lane. We have Iceborne Gauntlet completed by Ruler. And so that armor stacking, we'll have a bit of fun there. As we're going to take a look here once again. Effort just kind of out in the middle of nowhere.
This is the thing that happened in Game 1, if you remember, but it was also happening a lot yesterday. Effort's just having a very off series. Well, a couple of series actually now.
Qualifier.
Yeah, a very rough regional.
Yeah.
As
that's
he's
words you don't want to hear.
Consistently been the primary criminal at getting caught out or just being a little bit too far forward relative to his teammates.
Yeah. And that is, it's really not what you want to see out of your support, especially Effort. He is on the Pantheon, so he's going to be looking for some of those engages. I understand how he wants to position aggressively to try to appear strong, but you can't go that far forward because you're just going to get shut down. Actually, just loses to his fellow support in life, who slows him and then ults him up. And Effort doesn't even flash out of that one. He's now waiting here in the mid lane, looking to see what he can get going. He's got Gamayusi nearby. Manamune very close. Okay, 703 as the arrow is going to go wide. Pretty rough to try to land that one onto an Ezreal. And it is easily dodged by Gen.G.
Brownie's comment appearing even here in the LCK regional. As they are going to raise the mid-tier 1 turret. Faker does have the Braum ultimate, so they do have to be careful.
That's a really nice chunk. Effort's going in, and he's just going to die? As in goes BDD, now Ellim is on the run, and look at Gamayusi totally zoned out on the left side, not able to do anything. Canna's all alone, and so is Ellim. This is so broken up, and Gen.G, it's like chasing down the stragglers that got away from the group, and that's just 3 free kills essentially. As you know, there's no objective for now, but this is immediately getting Gen.G back into the game.
And Gen.G, I mean, I feel like they're ahead right now. They're down in gold, but because of the way the comps work, that Infernal Dragon giving over so much in terms of stats. I think Faker's dead, actually. Oh, he's gonna manage to dodge that.
Tries to dodge.
He's still dead.
Yeah,
he's still dead.
Yeah, he's still dead. You can go.
Oh, wait, hold on.
Rascal, never mind. Okay, he's gonna get turned around. Now Effort is angry after what happened the last couple of kills. Here comes Canna. That teleport out of Gen.G is so late. I don't think he's gonna get there on time. He gets there right after life goes down. BDD trying to go 1v3. He is incredibly strong right now. He's gonna get that nuke ascension.
Oh!
Arrow though from Gamayusi.
Faker!
Take BDD out of the fight, and Faker is getting in there. He's trying that damage, and he will be able to take him down. That is an ace to the side of T1 out of nowhere as they turn around the dive in the bottom lane.
Well, he was not dead, Valdes. They were dead. As that series of events, we're gonna take a quick cut to a replay from a couple of moments ago. And what a series of events that just unfolded. Feels like he's done this twice now in both of the series, yesterday on Sylas and now here again today. Obviously, this was a very hot mess of situations for T1, and Gen.G, off of this, they were back in the lead, pretty much. And then down here in bottom lane, it really looked like Faker was going to be dead. I did not consider Pantheon coming in. I should have been looking at the mini-map, so it just looked like they were going to wait for the next stun. They had Braum here, and then they would just end up picking him up shortly thereafter.
Steel tool as well.
But
gets him that health he needs.
yeah, Effort comes in with the Braum ultimate, or with Pantheon ultimate, locks up the Braum, life ends up going down, BDD here as well, and he's really strong. Ruler able to be here as well, Facebreaker into the Haymaker, cut the replay short.
Go back to the replay. Well, we got the one-on-one here as Faker is trying to win this
He
one.
wins.
Gonna get that nice. Zonya's down, and Rascal is like, well, I'm out of here.
Oh, Sir
He
Grompulus!
actually makes it away. Sir Grompulus gonna be thankfully stopped by Faker, but here comes Effort. He is so unbelievably fast. And should be able to get this kill. We'll see if he tries to give it over. Well, no. Just a spear to the face. That works too. As this Cloud Drake will be going down, but it's just a consolation prize for Gen.G, who have been getting ravaged all around the map. As T1 make a statement and come back in this game.
Gamayusi now on the Ashe. We'll see what he can do with the ultimate.
Shock Blast will miss.
They know about effort. Yeah, they know about Effort. And it looks like they don't want to do the smite fight.
TP's coming in. Will they try to get onto Faker here? Faker's gonna steal the ultimate. Get on in there, but
Oh,
he gets
no.
immediately
Oh,
no! It is a massacre against T1. A triple kill now for Ruler. And you know he's going for that penta. Gets the quadra. And Effort is just all alone. He's incredibly fast, but it doesn't matter. That was really cute. That was really, really cute. Let's see if they give this over. Nope, the Q is going to miss. And this is not about getting pentakills. It's about winning and going to Worlds. So they're not going to play around with that. They will get the kill, and they're going to get the Baron as well. What a massive turnaround for Gen.G now.
Valdes, honestly, I think most viewers' hearts probably can't take the series. Oh man.
Already.
I do not know what is going on. Faker comes in, and after being the 1v9 hero at so many different points inside of this game, all of a sudden everything just falls apart on that teleport. And now they're gonna lose the Baron. They were already down in levels, and now it's just gonna be that much worse. It's an ace going over to Gen.G. 4 kills onto the Ezreal, who we mentioned very early on is the most problematic champion for them. It's looking really doom and gloom. It is a 1,500 gold lead now for Gen.G. They have the Infernal Dragon. Ezreal is at 3 items, finally picks up the Death Stance. Things are looking pretty grim.
Yeah, it's, I can't believe we've had another turnaround. I mean, the first 2 games have been really all over the place. You could even call it sloppy. And it's crazy. I mean, Gen.G, they were able to at least wrest control back into their hands, and it was looking like T1 had done that after some nice turnaround plays from them, but immediately it goes back to the side of Gen.G now, who are pushing with this Baron. You can see the gold difference has finally gone in their favor. And they're just looking to push and get as much value as possible. Really nice stand behind me from Light, who's going to get knocked up, but he is a huge tank for this team. True Shot Barrage goes entirely wide. Everybody incredibly slow. As in goes Effort. He's got a shield, but he has to flash away. That's not what you want to see. It's going to be another summoner down. As everything pretty much lost there for T1. As the push will continue here for Gen.G.
And it does look like Gen.G now they're gonna raise the mid tier 2 Oh, okay. Ezreal.
This is why Ruler plays Ezreal. The guy is insane. And he was on the LCK All-Pro team, you know, the #1 team, selected by all of us for a reason. The guy is absolutely currently the best AD carry in the LCK. And he's showing it off a bit here on the Ezreal. Gen.G with a very strong push in mid. They're looking to try to push this to 2-0. We'll see if they can do it.
Well, they are up 2,500 still at this point in the game. And in terms of base levels, 2 level gap inside of the jungle. Everyone else is actually pretty, oh no, 2 level gap jungle, 2 level gap top. And that is honestly a bit of a problem. Top tier 2 turret's gonna get raised here, Valdes. Now they're gonna reset. They're all stockpiling so much gold. Question for me, what is Ezreal's 4th item? Moment of truth. Oh, okay, all right, QSS, all right. Going for the utility, acknowledging that it is highly unlikely that T1 can win unless they can bring him down in a fight. And so the QSS providing even more MR against the Elise and the Sylas, less opportunity to stun him up with either an Enchanted Crystal Arrow or an Elise Cocoon, is definitely erring on the side of caution, and Gen.G are just, they're running away with this series. And honestly, Valdes, I mean, this game was going so well. Elise got very fortunate that Life and Clid made the decision that they did to continue the fight at Wolves, and off of that, propelled herself into a ridiculous position inside of the game, and then still the game just kept ebbing and flowing back and forth. Faker with a hero play onto bottom, put T1 back in a very comfortable position, but they just consistently keep fumbling the ball over and over, and it feels really rough. Gen.G, though, they've been much more stable, except for that one blunder down in bot lane.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, we were forgetting about the Pantheon. It felt like Gen.G were forgetting about the Pantheon, and Faker had some really highlight moves, obviously. So it was a good play by the side of T1, but you can't really, you know, blame Gen.G for just the one mistake. Their ability to come back in this game has been pretty nice to watch, as you can see they're continuing to push here. Not really going to be wasting any time, and unfortunately, you mentioned the Elise got ahead early, but after that, not really able to do much except just be a Cocoon bot at this point in time. And you can see Ruler, he's got Cleanse and QSS, doesn't even need to use it on the Ash Arrow that just gets thrown out kind of desperately from the side of Gamayusi.
Oh,
This is just gross. Oh, man! Yeah, okay, Canna. That's 100 to, you know, 5, essentially, in just one little swing. Meet Ruler. You get it?
Ooh. Well,
Didn't see this all coming.
Well, this is the one chance T1 would probably ever have, is if Gen.G overextend here and really botch it. You can see their HP values going really low. Now, they do have a non-active healer in the Nidalee. Gonna be able to heal a lot of the teammates up and allow the siege to continue.
Yeah, just wait for the Morellos to pop off, and then they throw it out.
Ooh, really nice shock blast.
Nice.
This is it.
Okay.
This is probably the closest T1 will get, is this fight, and it seems like they're aware. They were trying to go for it, but in the end, going to get repelled, and Gen.G again, erring on the side of caution, saying, you know what, let's not push this too hard. Baron's coming up. If we get aced here or lose the Baron, they could throw the game back.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, we've seen this series on a knife's edge all night, and no doubts that one bad maneuver could get you into a really rough spot. So, Gen.G just going to take it easy. Don't really have to do much. I'm going to poke out Gamayusi a little bit, but looking to set up vision around the Baron at this point in time, just to be the next big objective. And Ruler's just such a monster in this game. I'm not really sure if T1 are going to have what it takes to take him down, especially with double cleanse, like we talked about, and a really thick front line. I mean, Rascal on the Renekton, always going to be pretty tanky, even though, you know, he didn't actually build tank, but BDD going for the tank set, and of course Braum with the big shield. It's going to make Ruler's job that much easier.
T1, they're basically stuck between a rock and a hard place. They know they can't really push out on the map right now or do anything. And so it's all just about Gen.G and what options they want to take inside of this game. Now, fortunately for them, Gen.G do not seem to be going for any sort of a Baron dance right now. And I'm unsure why, because they have all their core items completed, so this has actually only benefited T1. If you look at the items in the inventory, this is actually a pretty close point in the game in terms of completions, and also level disparity. Top lane is back to being pretty close. I believe Canna is actually about to ding 16. Faker's 16 to BDD's 15. The real difference is obviously in the jungle. 3.5 level gap. And if Baron gets taken, I mean, we could see 4 levels.
Yeah, it's pretty massive as, yeah, that's a nice little chunk of damage. And this TP very, very early. Faker gonna have to Zonya's right after the start. Just and now 3 of them! This is going to be a massacre. Ellim on the run here. Man, you could see Effort desperately trying to get onto Ruler, but he just lets him die to the Baron. He doesn't even attack him. As Canna now on the run. They're gonna stop his back and look to push into the top lane and take this game.
Yeah, and you can see Ellim, I mean, he's trying to recall. He's the only one, though. Teleport coming in now. And they're not even recalling for elixirs or anything. They probably just know that there's too much of a death timer, and it's an Elise that's defending the remaining Nexus turrets. They do not have a way from mid, but it's not going to matter. This is going to be Gen.G going up 2-0 against T1. And the question on a lot of people's minds is, are we going to have subs now come out in the final match point game? Because things are looking real grim.
I would imagine so. I think if we could give them advice, I would say probably you would want to swap some players out after that one. Gen.G looking quite strong.
I feel like T1 actually have the better edge in this draft, and it came when their last picks were face up. I feel like going into the last 2 picks for both sides, Gen.G had a lot better options available to them to continue to layer T1 inside of the draft phase. But R4 Ezreal comes in, Aphelios is walking into Orianna, Lilia, and Ezreal. That's going to be very hard for him to conduct himself. And Echo now trying to run into the opponents when they were trying to run into you is also a little bit bizarre. And the Alistar comes in as a vacuum answer to the set, but also a lot of good setup for his teammates, a lot of good synergy with the Orianna, a lot of follow-up with the Renekton, and a pretty good body blocker for those primary 3 that T1 need to protect. I think this is the first time, Valdes, T1 walks away from the draft with probably a lot more options than Gen.G.
Well, sometimes you roll the dice and it goes straight to the number 6, or at least you roll a 4 over a 2 or something like that. Either way, these are going to be the pick bans for game number 3. And LS has already told us that it seems like this might be the best chance to try to come back in the series. We've seen reverse sweeps happen before. It's not very common though, but we'll start with one. We'll see what they can do. If they can actually put up a good fight up against Gen.G, who have been in total control of this series. As here we go, back onto the Rift. And I find it funny too that BDD hops back onto the Echo that Faker was playing earlier on in the series up against BDD. So maybe trying to show him a thing or two about the Echo.
Well, BDD has probably the most iconic play in 2020 from LCK, if you remember the 5-man Echo stun.
The guy is he's a pretty good player.
Yeah.
Yeah.
pretty good, indeed.
Yeah. I mean, we could probably take 1 game from him out of 100. But, yeah, the guy is insane. And I'm really curious to see what he is going to do on the Echo this time around. Definitely a lot of moving pieces on the side of T1, so it'll be hard for them to group up as 5, I would imagine, and get hit by that. But we'll see.
And Ruler coming in here, looking maybe to scout out the area, place a ward. Okay, he is going to place it. And Clid gonna do a solo start in his red side jungle, Lilia. Gonna be on the other side. As Ellim is going to clear the Raptor camp really quickly as Lilia. Not a big deal. Move into red immediately. And Italy, Clid's actually just going to start the red right away. So they have the ward on the left-hand side. They know that Lilia's not immediately advancing in to the blue side jungle. So things are pretty fine for them right now.
Yeah, for sure. You can see here, there's one of these numbers on the bottom that really stands out. It's the 0-3 Aphelios from Ruler. He was definitely one of the 80 carries that didn't play much Aphelios, even when he was really strong, and also didn't have much success when he did play the champion. So it almost feels like a little bit of a challenge, It's an awkward composition for the Aphelios to handle, plus he's not had very great results on it, so Ruler coming out here and challenging himself in game number 3, when there were definitely some other choices that may have worked better. Kind of just going to eat that. Doesn't seem too concerned.
Saving his shield breaker for the Volibear E. Ends up just going through all of that. Now, Ruler and Life, they're going to come over here. They're going to help Clid steal away the blue, and this is actually very big. This is going to stun Ellim a very great deal. Normally, this doesn't happen in this matchup, and it looks like they're actually going to push on. Oh, man.
Maybe steal. Oh, okay, it's going to hit Ellim, but not a huge steal. Clid now could get in there and steal the Gromp, but it doesn't look like he wants to with all of that pressure that they had going. Rascal looks like he's pushing really hard, just wants to get out of this lane as Canna was handling it. Up comes Ellim. They know that Ellim is not on the bottom side of his jungle, so got to play it a little bit safer up there.
And Ellim looking for maybe a gank of some sorts. He's going to be able to get a lot of damage onto Rascal. There's a lot of MS. Wait, what? What?
What? Rascal, I'm gonna need you to hand in your Volibear card now. Nice amount of damage onto Ruler here, who is just being owned in the 2v2. Gen.G now are getting smacked down by T1. We got the double teleport coming on in. We're gonna get on top of Gamayusi, but Life incredibly low will actually survive. Oh, as King Kong, we're back at it again. Effort going to bop Rascal towards his team. Flashes on in. Not sure that they have the damage, as the stun will come in, and actually now Canna is going to be the one that eats the death.
Okay, it's not over yet.
The Faker going to get in.
Oh, no.
Shield, and
yes.
Does he have the damage? Finally is going to get it. Okay. Has to flash over the wall. That's double Summoner to get on in there and get the kill, as BDD is just sitting in the middle.
And Ellim, meanwhile, up in top lane. I mean, he's going to push in the wave, and he should be able to get this crash into the turret, and so that's a lot of lane XP that he's going to be able to pick up for himself. It's going to help him remain relevant, but a little bit of a fiesta unfolding down, obviously, in the bottom side. The wave does not crash.
Ooh.
Oh, my...
LS's worst nightmare. This is perfect, actually, for Rascal. He's going to get up there right on time. And I didn't want to watch this again, actually.
Yeah, I don't understand why he didn't flash the enhanced damage on the W and then just make it out. Face breaker there into the Alistar combo. Gamayusi goes forward, gets the kill onto Ruler. And then I thought at this point they would start kiting towards the right, especially into Canna, but he kites down towards the south. Now, Life actually spaces very far away, not wanting to get recomboed by effort, but he eventually gets there. Does the face breaker onto Canna. Lightning Storm comes down. Faker comes in with the teleport. It almost looked like they were actually just going to kill Faker as well, but not quite enough damage on set to make that happen. Clid now wants to start up the Infernal Dragon.
And looks like he should be able to get this pretty easily. They have a nice push going down in the bottom side. Lilia's nowhere near that dragon, so it's just going to go over the way of Gen.G, and of course, Infernal would be really nice to pick up as a singular Drake. Obviously, a nice amount of damage in their composition to be enhanced. And Rascal, with the 2 kills that he did pick up, he goes back and gets the Bramble Vest and is having a pretty fun time up against the Renekton now.
Everything is still somewhat stable, pretty much, inside of this game, even though Gen.G are certainly ahead with how everything does stand. Bit of a CS lead in mid lane, as well as a big EXP lead because of what Orianna did. She recalled down into bottom. She did get a kill, but BDD was able to stay in mid and get all those minions. And Clid now, he is down in EXP. Almost does have the jungle item complete. Top lane is just going to get worse and worse between these two. Volibear is going to get definitely a little bit stronger as things go on. BDD is... I mean, look at the...
Oh, boy.
No, he could freeze here if he wanted. Orianna doesn't have teleport. He could just freeze and then reset on the next minion wave and leave it frozen and then come back to it. And Orianna would be in a very doomed spot because you can see the vision on left side river and even right side river. It would be very hard for Faker to break that. And now even his ultimate's on cooldown, so he has even less insurance. But BDD shoves it out immediately, not electing to want to go for a recall. And so this is actually going to give Faker a little bit of control in the lane as he comes back, because BDD does not have teleport available.
Yeah.
Rift Herald.
Rift Herald's pretty easy take here for Clid. Faker just now getting back to the lane, and that will go their way. So both first big objectives going into the hands of Gen.G. The Infernal Drake and the first Rift Herald. Definitely really nice stuff. Ellim, he's a little bit angry. Someone angered Bambi. Rascal taking an aggressive trade now up in the top side. Thinking about going in on this one, but not quite gonna go for it. Looks like Clid once again getting pretty aggressive in the enemy jungle. They're able to steal the red a little bit earlier on. And is just getting in there and warding things out.
And Canna in a bit of a dangerous position. You can see all the members coming up. He has Dominus available. He's going to pop it early.
Yeah. So clear the wave. See what he can do. Not really going to have a good
time.
It actually gets over there, but I think the damage is just too much. And Rascal is quite a beefy boy even already. That is going to be the 3-on-1. Not fair. They were bullying him. But either way, they do pick up the kill up in the top side. Faker, meanwhile, gonna do kind of what BDD did the last time around, and Faker roamed bottom side and looked to get some of these plates.
You gotta give it to Canna, though. He managed to CS the entire wave. And so you can see this actually hurts Rascal in a bit because he's not able to get any turret plates. Had Canna just died and all of the wave was there, Rascal would have gotten 2 turret plates. That would have been 320 extra gold in his pocket on the recall. And I have to wonder if that would mean something like coming back to lane with Sheen and Phage, rather than just a Ruby Crystal due to inventory space.
Oh, effort on the roam, the flash away. This is 3-on-1, this time onto BDD. Tries to get over to the Nidalee, but not quite able to get in range for the heal. So down he goes. Nice little collapse from T1 to actually strike back and pick up a kill onto BDD. As the trading continues up in the top side, Rascal, he had a fun time of it in game number 1. He's gonna have a fun time of it in game number 2, or game number 3, I suppose this one is. But the second game he goes into this matchup, especially as he got an even better start this time, dodges the bowling ball, and they'll just say, okay, you got away this time. The Lilia, quite strong herself, has a couple of kills already, so Ellim looking to try to carry this time around.
And this is the closest I feel like the game has, or the series has been in an individual game at any point. You can see Orianna is getting very big inside of this game. The Renekton is very far behind, but that doesn't really matter. He's Renekton. All that he is a ball service, pretty much, regardless. He's just there to serve the ball.
Yes, indeed. Of course.
Or the balls, if Lilia's ball matters.
Exactly. True. Well put. And, yeah, I mean, he's pretty far behind, so you're not really going to expect too much else from the Renekton. Just try to survive and essentially just play the weak side and let the rest of your team try to do the carrying. You've got Faker and Ellim pretty far ahead, so perhaps this will be their game to go ahead and do that. Rascal, though, still very scary up here on the top side. By the way, we know it's not going to be a Cloud Soul this time around.
Yep.
So it'll be interesting to see if it does go to Ocean or Mountain. Feels like those could be very game-changing. We will have a lot of action around those drakes.
And Rift Herald is summoned here in mid. We're going to give the gold over. And this is going to put them at a 1,000 gold advantage. We have Proto Belt first item for BDD. endlessly shoving the wave in over and over. Meanwhile, up in top lane, I mean, Renekton's doing a pretty good job. He's currently taking the Krug camp to try to help out his jungler as well as himself. Here we go.
Look at this collapse from T1. They're going to get on top of Ruler really easily. It's 1 teleport to 2 as well. Gen.G need to get out of here. It looks like they should effectively be able to. The ultimate will be denied by Rascal, who hops out of there. Now, decent amount of damage was done to T1, but it's still 5v4. Gen.G, though, not willing to just run away from this one. BDD is going to be spotted.
And that's Cloud Drake. That attacks very fast and shreds the HP down.
Absolutely. Nice amount of poke is coming out. They're trying to get onto that back line with the stun. It does go down onto Canna, but the Cloud Drake will go the way of Gen.G, actually, as BDD being chased down here. And he will eventually be taken out. Not much help for him to receive, but the Cloud Drake is stacked up here on the side of Gen.G. The 1 for 2, the 2 for 1, I should say, in favor of T1 after all that.
And through it all, T1, they're only down now 200 gold. Lilia is also massive with 3 kills in this game right now. We take a look at how this all transpires. So Ellim comes out of the brush, really surprises Ruler. He's not able to do anything, and Aphelios is a very important piece to their puzzle. Rascal, it almost looks like it's just flatulence there as he ulties as Orianna's shockwave goes off. Like the sheer force given by Volibear.
The shockwave.
Here, Ellim does lose the fight to Clid. BDD goes off with the Echo ultimate, but not able to really get to any safety, and so the game, I mean, it's still very, very even between the two.
Absolutely. It was the Drake to Gen.G, but it's just one singular Cloud Drake. Gives them a little leg up if they're trying to stack this this soul very fast, but certainly a lot of the members of T1 are getting nicely fed. They're having a good feast, a good dinner. Now at around 7:30 here in Korea. And, I mean, they've got the Ezreal, who's nearing his 2 items, and is 2 and 1. We've got Faker, already with Seraphs on the way, 1, 0, and 3. Well, that's not what we're looking for. This one, we can't even blame on just clearing the wave. Just going for that one, trying to poke him out, and will miss.
And ends up missing there. A little bit unfortunate, not the end of the world though. 600, 700 gold lead still for Gen.G, but remember they have the Infernal Dragon. And so there's a little bit of amplification being given over there. 2.5 minutes until that Mountain Dragon comes up. That's a very important dragon. The thing I'm worried about at that Drake is, if you look at the timing relative to Gamayusi, I don't believe he'll have Mirror Mana available, and that is a very big item spike timing. Now, they do know that Clid is down here.
Well, we got 4 members of T1 hanging around, but they're just going to take down the turret and go ahead and back away. Faker actually missing some of the wave in the mid lane at the meanwhile as TP coming in. Gen.G looking to collapse, but not going to be the easiest play in the world. Over goes the set. They just want to get on top of Gamayusi, and they will do exactly that. The kill also, importantly, into the hands of BDD's Echo.
Yeah.
So nice little play there, using the teleport to pick up the kill.
They use that to get the kill. They offset the reset on Gamayusi, and he's actually going Trinity Force for this game. Faker lands an ultimate onto Rascal.
Spotted. Yeah, Rascal does have his teammates coming up here, though, so you can see T1 just trading a bit and then running away. Not going to overstay their welcome. And Faker, you know, say what you will about some of his ultimates. He's doing a really fantastic job of farming. 170. He's got the highest in the game. And is going to pick up a needlessly large rod already. So just stacking up as much AP as humanly possible.
This is going to be a very interesting situation here, as Gen.G should be in a very commanding position to get this Mountain Dragon in just a minute. Ruler should be able to have... Oh, wow. Gamayusi does have Mirror Mana. completed at 17 minutes, so he managed to pass the Ezreal minigame. But because he's going for that Trinity Force, he's not going to have the 2-item spike that would have been so oppressive, especially because of Iceborne Gauntlet. In a early game fight, the armor value as well as the extra mana converts to more AD when you have the mirror mana in your pocket as well. Seraph's Embrace already completed there on Faker. 30 seconds until this Dragon Eye Edge has been finished. Mikhail's on Nidalee as the first item. It's actually not going to be the Athenes. Huh. And so, very, very supportive Nidalee build here.
Yeah, and I'm looking at the enemy team. I think it's really mostly for Lilting Lullaby. Obviously, Renekton can get in there too.
Oh!
And by the way, not having a fun time is looking to get solo down. The flash comes out. Rascal's still going to get in there and pick up the solo kill under the turret as everything's happening over here. BDD is trying to get in through the backside. Ruler gets a massive ultimate, and they have so much damage. They take down Gamayusi as the flash forward. That was a little bit confusing. Ruler thinking they were closer than they actually were, but they're able to push them away, and this is going to give the Mountain Drake and put them on Mountain Soul Point after that play.
And it does look like the Gen.G, they're going to pick up the Mountain Drake. And look at the amount of MR on Clid that's about to get amplified. He's at 108 already. This is massive against Orianna, Alistar, Lilia, even Ezreal to a certain extent. Because Athenes is still going to be picked up. Let's take a look at this solo kill here. As Rascal, he is up so much over Canna. He turns off the turret. Even the minions were getting in on this a little bit. Ends up having to flash at the very end, but still gets him. Watch Life's engage here for some effort again, man. Doing it, starts the fight onto Life. It is, I don't know. I have nothing nice to say about it. And T1, they're forced to just eventually disengage. Like you were saying, Ruler thinking that he was a little bit closer than he was and that T1 was closer. And Gen.G, this game is so in their favor right now. 2,500 gold lead. Earth, Wind, and Fire currently as the Dragons. Mountain Soul is just 4 minutes away. And when they get that, Lilia, Renekton, they're basically being invalidated. There's no pen on Orianna. She's not going to get pen for a while. She's going for the Spellbinder as the second item. This is really problematic for T1.
Yeah, it's a massive problem, and it's not one that's going to solve itself anytime soon, as you were just mentioning. And I think probably Gamayusi is going to have to step it up here. It's asking a lot of a rookie player. And I was actually surprised that Teddy didn't come in for Game 3. We were talking about how we were expecting subs, or we thought it would be a good idea from the side of T1, but it's been the same comp, the same 5 players, all 3 games, no changes. And we'll see if it works out for them, because definitely under a lot of pressure here in Game 3 once again. Light gonna X-Flash over the wall, look for a potential play. And, well, not able to get too much. Looks like Gamayusi is, he's, pretty concerned about that brush, so not gonna get caught out there.
2.5 minutes until that mountain comes up. It looks like Zanya's Hourglass might be the next item actually by Clid, not the Athene. So not doubling down on the superior healing in utility. We're gonna get the Zanyas. And that is gonna mean that 12% amp to armor and MR is gonna be quite nice, even for that little bit of armor that Zanya's Hourglass does give, but the utility is gonna be very oppressive. When this turret falls, we are nearing a 4,000 gold lead approach by Gen.G. Lichbane almost completed on the Echo. Runon's already available for Ruler. Things are looking pretty grim. We got Black Cleaver coming in on Canna for the majority magic damage team comp. But there's not much to talk about right now. We're in a lull state. All the jungle camps are down. There's no objective up. So of course, obviously, we're just looking what item spikes are coming in next. Where are people going with items? Seems like Faker actually not going to go with Spellbinder, so interestingly enough. He's going to pivot into Rabadon's Death Cap and try to maybe complete that before this Mountain Soul fight. And that'll give over a lot more of EHP anytime that he shields an ally.
Definitely the fun part about going the AP stacking build with the Seraph's Embrace into the Rabadons. As you were mentioning, the shields get pretty massive. But the one thing you're missing is Pen. He even has Merc Treads, so all of that stacking with the potential double Mountain Drake is just going to be so difficult for him to chew through. And we'll see what he can do. Even the QSS picked up now by Ruler, so he's got a bit of MR on top of it, as well as abilities to get away from a lot of different things. He's essentially got double cleanse because of the Nidalee's Mikhails on top of that. So very well prepared for this fight that is about to break out. We're just 40 seconds away from the game that, or the fight that could decide the game as well. We'll see what happens.
Well, we will see if T1 can manage to pull it back. They have 30 seconds. I don't think Faker, even though he has the Amp Tome to sell, I don't think he's going to be able to get to it. And another thing I'm worried about is Lilia's not going to be able to get to Leandre's either. The resets are not there. No Black Cleaver for Renekton unless he's going to recall right now and TP into the fray. Maybe he'll have it available. But if this is the case, if this is T1's last hurrah with these stunted items, Gen.G are actually, they are way further ahead than the gold graph at the top would otherwise suggest because they have their items completed.
Absolutely. And it looks like Ruler just going to aggro the Mountain Drake. He's trying to pull it over and maybe get on top of that one. Take a look at the positioning. Actually spotted by the ward. BDD looking to flank. Rascal in a really awkward spot, though. In goes BDD. They're trying to get on top of Ellim as Rascal will go away. But there's the Mountain Soul going the way of Gen.G, which is massive in this game. T1, they get life, but that is it. And even 5v4 without life, I think Gen.G have a chance to take some fights here. So T1, they're looking for some value on the map. They're just going to try to get these turrets in the mid lane.
Well, I don't know what T1 are doing. They seem panicked. They're just randomly in mid right now. They're still on double needlessly large rod. Haunting Guy's blasting wand. They need to recall and get their items. They're trolling.
Oh, here we go. Ellim gonna take a big chunk of damage. Over the wall goes the Nidalee. That was a little bit aggressive. They're trying to get on top of Gamayusi, and they should be able to do it. BDD is getting into that backline and will take him down. Rascal and him going 2v2, or 2v3 rather. BDD is going to put up the stopwatch, but the chase is still on. Ruler incredibly strong right now, just gonna chunk through Ellim like he doesn't even exist. Down goes Faker, and there's just not much left standing here for T1.
I mean, Valdes, it is absolutely looking like it's over. 99.99% of the time, this game is going to go the way of Gen.G. They're going to get the Baron. They have what is going to be a 5,000 gold lead at the end of this. Mountain Soul picked up with two mountains, so not quite 3 like what happens sometimes. It doesn't matter. 12% amp, all that EHP given over. This one looked pretty good. Almost. Gamayusi looking like he was going to be able to steal a kill onto Rascal, but it just doesn't matter in the end. Mountain Soul goes over. T1 arbitrarily group up in mid lane like they are seemingly lost without a compass. I have no idea what they're thinking here. And Gen.G are probably thinking very similarly. What are they doing? Ellim literally stops and turns to hit Scuttlecrab as if they're ever going to stop and hit it. I have no idea what is going on.
Yeah, I mean, it was confusing, right? I was saying, you know, T1 are desperately trying to find value after just giving over the Mountain Soul and not really able to effectively confront Gen.G at that objective. And Gamayusi is, you know, he's got that Hex Shrinker, thankfully, but BDD is quite the assassin at this moment in time. Well, okay, there's Dominus. Rascal's like, okay, I'll just walk away. Up 2 levels. Not a big problem for him, and Gen.G are on the doorstep of Worlds right now. This is a big sweep if they could pull it off here, and it's looking likely as they push to take this inhibitor.
Well, it does look like this might be the final pushes as Gen.G are looking to go to Worlds as the final seed from the LCK. We'll see what happens. Here we go. Next.
It's looking really likely. They're just taking down everything. The tutorial victory. And you got even Rascal pushing up on the top side. Could just group, I feel, in mid, but they want to take it slow. They want to be safe. There's so much on the line for this game, as we have continuously mentioned. BDD just going to come in here, zone them out as they take down the third inhibitor. And again, they are quite literally on the doorstep of making it into the World Championship if they do win this game. Ultimate is down from Ruler, but he doesn't seem to care. The chipping comes in, and Gamayusi is in the front line for no reason, goes down, not able to stand up to the power that is Gen.G. Really nice combo, Shockwave coming in, but it doesn't look like it's gonna matter. They get pulled in, and Gen.G will be making it to the World Championship of 2020 with the 3-0 sweep over T1. Absolute domination here in this final round of the regional qualifiers. Ruler gonna give Rascal a little slap on the back. And